happy Saturday, everyone. Okay, so I thought we would read from Proverbs 27, and we're going to read through chapter 27, 1 through 4. And this is really good. I love Proverbs. Anyway, so Proverbs 27:1 says, "Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring forth," which is so true. So first of all, do not boast about tomorrow. So it's human nature to be overly confident about what the future holds. There's nothing wrong with that, thinking about your future. But it gets to be a problem when you start boasting about what the future holds. Like, I'm going to be this, I'm going to get this, and I've got a good job, this is what I'm going to do. Especially because, the world is an arrogant place. So we, too, get caught up in the arrogance. And this really hits home for me. For you do not know what a day may bring forth. We don't know what tomorrow holds. So we should have a humble attitude towards the future. My mom always said, I used to laugh because I used to ask her, hey, tomorrow, next week, next summer, can we do this, this, and this? And she used to say, Valerie, I could be dead by then. Which sounds a little harsh, but you know what? It's so true. It's so true. We really don't know what the future holds. Okay, so here, I'm going to read from James chapter 4, and it's 13 through 16. Come now and pay attention to this, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go to such and such a city and spend a year there and carry on our own business and make a profit. Yet you do not know about what may happen in your life tomorrow. In other words, what's secure in your life? You are merely a vapor, like a puff of smoke or a wisp of steam from a cooking pot, that is visible for a little while and then vanishes into thin air. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and we will do this or that. But as it is, you boast, which is vanity. In your pretension and arrogance, all such boasting is evil. So just saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, hey, I'm going to make some more money. You just can't. If you do talk like that, God willing. I remember 2 summers ago, I left my house and I went on a bike ride with my daughter. And when you say life can change like that, we went on a bike ride. We didn't even get out of the parking lot because I thought it was cool to ride her bike. Hey, can I ride your bike? And I turned. I fell. I broke my ankle. And because I don't have a bathroom downstairs, I was out of my home and my job for, I think, 7 weeks. Just like that. And when I think of leaving the house, I think, well, I'll be back home, God willing, because it does. And there are so many things that I can talk about that you get that phone call and life changes just like that. So, yeah, you just can't. You can plan for the future, but the best thing is to say, if it's God's will. Okay, so now we're going to go on. Oh, here's one more thing I want to read. So anyway, this verse is not ruling out wise planning for the future, only one's overconfident sense of ability to control the future, because we cannot control the future. future at all. And no one can presume on God's future. I might have read that twice. I'm sorry. Little doth any man know what is in the womb of tomorrow, till God hath signified his will by the event. David in his prosperity said that he should never be moved, but he soon after found a sore alteration. God confuted his confidence. And let me read Psalm 30, 6 and 7 for you. Okay, Psalm 30, 6 and 7. As for me in my prosperity, I said, I shall never be moved. By your favor and grace, O Lord, you have made my mountain stand strong. You hid your face, and I was horrified. I called to you, O Lord, and to the Lord I made supplication, which is a specific request. So he said he'll never be moved, but life changed. Life changed for David a lot. Wonderful, wonderful book that I'm going through on a Bible study. And there's just so much change. And, well, I mean, you would think, at first David was going to be a king. And then suddenly Saul went nuts, threw spears at him, and he ended up hiding, running in the wilderness. So, yeah, he was proved wrong. Okay, so Spurgeon, and I looked this up. He was an old English Baptist preacher. A lot of this little quotes are from preachers. Spurgeon considered what a blessing it was that we do not know what a day may bring forth. To know the good might lead us to presumption. To know the evil might tempt us to despair. Happy for us is that our eyes cannot penetrate the thick veil which God hangs between us and tomorrow, that we cannot see beyond the spot where we now are, and that, in a certain sense, we are utterly ignorant as to the details of the future. We may indeed be thankful for our ignorance. And I am so thankful. I mean, a lot of things were shocking, but if you go to bed knowing that something's going to happen to a loved one, if I went to bed knowing that, tomorrow I'm going to break my ankle, how horrible is that? I might not have gone out on that bike, but it's not for us to know. It really isn't. And when things happen, no matter how bad, there is usually a reason for it. God always has a lesson for us. Okay, so I'm going to go on with, there's one more thing my mom used to say. I'm peppered with quotes from my mom. She used to say, we make plans and God laughs. So true. I often wonder too, I'm sorry, I'm really into this, why people want to go to, tarot cards, all that stuff that is against, thank God it's against what we believe. Tarot card readers and all these people, I don't know if they do that ball, and they want to know their future, what's coming. And my thought was always, I don't want to go in there and have somebody say, you're going to die on this day. Because when I was young, I read a book about a lady who was told the day she was going to die. And it was actually like a kid horror story, but she did die on that day, and that always stuck with me. I thought, who would want to know? Like, I don't want to know my future. I just want it to be in God's hands and let Him handle all of it. And if you're into that stuff, get away from it. It's so evil. But anyway, Proverbs 27:2. Let another man praise you and not your own mouth, a stranger and not your own lips. That is definitely being boastful. I'm so good at my job. I'm so good at this. I'm so good at that. Look how pretty I am. Yeah, we don't do that. So we should stay away from self-promotion in any of its forms. Modern technology gives us many more methods and opportunity to praise ourselves, but we should avoid such self-praise. Sorry, that's my dryer. Pray, especially even doing things like this. I mean, people can get, I guess, really big-headed. The more viewers, the more this, the more that. I actually pray that I never get like that. Like, I would be happy if 3 people saw this and they came to the understanding of Jesus. But some people want more and more, and I can't. I remember a church that I went to, and I would have to ask my daughter, maybe she'd remember, but somebody would go up and they'd be counting, like during the first song or whatever, they would count how many people were there, and they would yell down, "We have," and what a numbers game. You know what? If you had 5 people in that church and they came to know the Lord, all the better. I mean, did they have more people? I'm sure. But, that just stuck in my head too. Okay, a stranger and not your own lips. That was the second part. Honor means much more when it comes from an outside source, even a stranger, than being the product of self-praise and self-promotion. So when someone comes out of the blue and says, "Oh, you know what? I love your shirt. I love your hair," whatever. It's like, "Oh, thank you," But if you're like, "I love my hair. I'm looking cute," it's ugly. It sounds really, really ugly. All right, so let's see. Let's do Proverbs 27:3. A stone is heavy and sand is weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than both of them. I like Proverbs because it's kind of funny. Like, I just like the way that. Okay, so a stone is heavy and sand is weighty. Solomon appealed to self-evident truths. That's what I love. It is in the nature that for a stone to be too heavy, and in the nature of sand to be too weighty. But a fool's wrath is heavier than both of them. When a fool, which is someone who rejects God's wisdom, expresses their anger and their wrath, it is a weighty, dangerous thing. The wrath of any person may have great consequence. How much more a fool? I've been that fool. I have expressed anger and wrath. And I don't know if I said this the last time, but I really struggle with anger. And it's mostly, I would say, it comes from situations at work. I try, I want to be that, as they say, be the light. You want to be the light in those spaces. But sometimes management really comes down, and I know I am making excuses, but I don't want to make excuses because I should still be the light. And I should stop with the anger. I need to know how to tune it out, like just tune out what I'm hearing and pray. That's what I should be doing. I should be, when someone's doing something to get me started, I should just stop praying about it. I gotta solve my own problem. Okay, and now we go into Proverbs 27:4. Wrath is cruel and anger a torrent, but who is able to stand before jealousy? So wrath is cruel and anger a torrent. In all of its manifestations, anger is a dangerous and difficult to control expression, like a torrent, like a torrent, like a ocean, and it's crazy, or when it's raining and it's just blowing, and you have no control. You have to pull over on the side. It's just, you're out of control, and that's so true, because I have been so angry that, and this isn't recent. This is, for getting closer to God, seeking help mentally. But I remember my anger being so bad that it was like I blacked out. They say you see red, and you're just out of control with your mouth. You're just going and going and going, and you can't take any of that back. You can't take any of that back. And the sort of funny thing is, with me, like the problem I have at work is I don't know how to set boundaries. And Christians they have to set boundaries, because we are, people are supposed to see Jesus in us, but we aren't to be doormats. And that is what happened. See, I let people push my boundaries instead of setting them from the beginning, and then I explode. And that's on me, because I don't set the boundaries. So then but I'm not setting boundaries, and I let it build and build and build. Now, when it comes to my daughter, I have been better. She's an adult now. But especially when she was younger, somebody did something to her. Oh, you know what? The wrath of Val came out. And I was super crazy mama bear. And shouldn't have been. I know. God forgive me for being that way. And I mean, that boundary was put out right there. It was like, no, you won't. But with me, I don't set the boundaries. So, there I was overboard. Here I'm overboard. But I'm working on it. I'm working on my boundaries. Okay. I'm going to totally lose my place. Okay, so anger so the metaphor, the torrent, depicts anger as a spiritual force that is destructive, irrational, and violent. And I think of a horrible flood or a hurricane right now. Who is able to stand before jealousy? Solomon pointed out that there is a power and destructive capability in jealousy that can even go beyond wrath and anger. It can make a bigger torrent of evil. It was envy that motivated the religious leaders to arrange the death of Jesus. They were so jealous and envious, and they had so much wrath and anger that they arranged for the death of God's Son. And how many things happen, and I'm not talking about mass shootings. I don't even want to go there. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But just you hear about husband and wives, or just two people fighting on the street, and it gets so bad that somebody stabs the other person, somebody shoots the other person. That's because their wrath and their anger totally got out of control. Got to that dangerous point. So jealousy is a raging emotion that defies reason at times and takes the form of destructive violence, like a consuming fire. And I think a lot, and this has happened, first time I ever heard of it was when I was in maybe 10th or 11th grade. And we had a bakery downtown where this lady, and she had kids. She was married, but I think she left the husband because he was abusive. And he came into work and he shot her, and she died. That was jealousy, that was rage, that was anger, that was evil. So Kidner, I'm thinking Kidner is maybe a religious scholar, I'm not sure. That jealousy in the scriptures is usually used in a positive sense. It is jealousy for God's proper jealousy for God's proper jealousy for our love. Yet passages like this also acknowledge that there is a dark side of jealousy of and not for. So God is jealous of any gods that we put before him. And we're not talking about graven images. I mean, if we do that, okay, that's wrong too. But I mean, we could put football games in front of them. We could put music. We could put time. And we can make anything a god. Anything can be a god. Let's see. Poole, I guess another scholar, explained while jealousy is worse than wrath and anger, envy is worse than both of them, partly because it is more unjust and unreasonable, as not caused by any provocation, as wrath and anger are. So wrath and anger will build, and there's a reason. Not a good reason, there's never a reason, but it will build on something someone says, something someone does. But when you, I forgot the word, when you have envy, that's on you. I envy their car, I envy their this, their that. That's a you thing. That's not someone's provoking me, someone's making me. No, you're envying them. You want what they have. So it's actually stronger, but only proceeding from a malignity of mind, whereby a man is grieved for another man's happiness. You want what another man has. And partly because it is more secret and undiscernible. So it's boiling up in you. That other person could be your best friend. They have no clue what's going on in your head. They're going about their life and you are envying and thinking things in your head. Happiness, and partly because it is more secret and undiscernible, and therefore the mischievous effects of it are hardly avoidable. Whereas wrath and anger discover themselves, and so forewarn and forearm a man against the danger. So you can tell your wrath and your anger, but your envy, that's like ticking, and it's kind of building, and you're just looking at what they have. And I mean, that is very, very, I like the way that was explained. That is very, 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 very dangerous. So we will go into Psalms 5. I'd like to do Psalms, yes. Proverbs 27:5. I'd like to do 27:5 to 8 next time. Okay? So I am enjoying Proverbs. I hope you're enjoying Proverbs. Sorry for the stumbling. Sometimes it's hard for me to read and think and talk. I don't know if it's some kind of neurodivergent brain thing, but excuse that. I'm sorry. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on Devotions with Val, and I hope to see you again. Please like, follow, and share this so that we can get it out to as many people as possible and they can learn more about God and our Savior. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.